Hey, y'all, what's going on? This is Tell the Truth. My name is Ant. Subscribe, like, let's talk about this because I think this is something that a lot of wrestling fans can definitely agree that is a hot topic as every single time the name is brought up. So let's talk about Jim Cornette. So I was watching a video on the way back home where Kicking It with Ross did a reaction to Jim Cornette's thoughts on the match between the Elite and the Death Triangle. For anybody that needs to know or has not found out yet, Cornette was not a fan of the match, to the surprise of nobody. And so Ross did a reaction to it. It was absolutely hilarious, and he got some negative reactions to it, such as this one here. And he was trying to figure out why people hated Cornette so much. And so, before I get to my opinions of why people hate Cornette, I want to talk about my personal opinions on Cornette. Now, I listen to Cornette here and there, check out his podcast here and there. Not listen to his podcast, I'll check out the videos that he posts on his YouTube, or has posted on his YouTube, because he doesn't do it. Anybody knows about him, he's not a tech guy. So, doing videos and stuff like this, he has somebody else to do it for. And so, he's the clean old head. So, the guy is absolutely hilarious when he's telling his story, giving his opinion on something. He has nicknames for anybody that he doesn't like. Kenny Omega, the Harpo, the Kenny Olivier, Tweaker Toes McFingerbane, the Young Bucks, the Kumonga Kids. You already know the whole deal. He has so many different names for people. And it's absolutely hilarious when you actually sit there and listen to him and not really are looking to have something to get mad about. Now, I don't necessarily agree with everything he says when it comes to wrestling, and I think that is perfectly fine. I don't think we all have to agree on wrestling. I think that is the most ridiculous thing. It's a TV show, and you watch it. I don't think it's not that deep. So, I don't agree with everything he says. I do agree with some of the stuff. And even when I don't agree with him, I want to figure out why he believes what he believes. And that is perfectly fine in my opinion. And so I think he's one of the most entertaining wrestling podcast shows. Has one of the most entertaining wrestling podcast shows in the entire wrestling scene. And so that's my thoughts on him. So why do people not care for him? Well, if you ask other people, I've heard them bringing up his life and how he enjoys his wife doing things with other people as he watches, allegedly. And then you have some of the instances of his video that came out from the 90s where he was evidently explaining his character, and I guess an instance where he was using the Hardy R in character, which we have seen on most occasions. Anybody that's been following long enough knows that Kevin Owens, then Kevin Steen, as well as Excalibur, had a segment in PWG where they both used the Hardy R. Kevin Owens has apologized for it multiple times, and so is Excalibur, and also he served a slight suspension for it, which was ridiculous because it happened years ago and well before AEW was in existence. Also, you brought up the situation where he was let go by NWA for I guess you could say it's a little phrase that evidently has been said many times before, and people thought it was racist, so in order to avoid anything, NWA let him go. Also, like we talked about before, is the fact that Jim Cornette's opinions don't really align with the modern day wrestling fan. A lot of people would say that Jim Cornette's opinions on wrestling is ridiculously outdated. I think that some of those things are, but I think that a lot of times his opinions on wrestling can still intertwine with the modern day wrestling format. And I think there is where a lot of times the lack of will to find the middle ground comes in. Because he even has watched some matches that have used the modern day wrestling idea and still use the what he enjoys. If y'all go back and listen to his opinions on at the time his name was Walter versus Ilya Dragunov. He loved that match. And he still loves a lot of guys that are still wrestling today. He loves MJF. He loves the Acclaimed. He has been very high on Roman Reigns. Yes, there are guys in WWE he doesn't like. Honestly, if you listen to him and even Brian Last, they will say a lot of times they hate WWE more than they hate AEW. So this idea that he just makes his podcast to talk trash about AEW is absolutely ridiculous. And it comes from people who don't even listen to his podcast and they only see the clips that they want to see that prove their confirmation bias. So at the end of the day, I think we all need to just sit down and have this conversation and be able to agree to disagree, because at the end of the day, it's just wrestling. It's a TV show. We're watching guys play fight. And I love it. So let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Also, go check out King's Crowning. Their stuff is great. Oh my gosh, if I have to say it again, their stuff is amazing. You can use my code Unbounded1. You can always check it out. 10% off your next purchase. Also, 5:30, myself and Isaac will be on the Unbounded podcast, live in living color, talking about the CFP. All 4 teams have been announced. People are mad because Alabama's not in it. Why are they mad? I don't know. We're going to talk about why it's ridiculous. So check us out there. We'll see you on the other side. Peace, love, Pop-Tarts, all here. This is Warner.
Motherfucker, I've been mortified, 45, feeling like a Mordecai. I ain't regular, feel like Jordan wearing 45. Traumatized, victimized, seen some of my niggas die. Knock you off a base with a bat when them niggas slide. Homicide, genocide, televised, emphasize, perpetuating war. Tell that nigga he gon' pick a side.